day 2, I showed up and there was frost all in the trees. It had been warm the day before and it got really, really cold.
Well, it's snowing, actually, just lightly snowing. And so there's all these little, and the sun's just catching it, so there's all these little glistening pieces kind of coming by. Very lightly, but enough to register in the photo. You can kind of see a little bit in the background there, kind of around the skull.
I actually had the shot set up the night before, which is nice. I left my tripod overnight. I figured, you know, the tripod was $100. It was worth the risk. And sure enough, I came and my tripod was covered in frost crystals. There was this nice soft backlight that was kind of just like making the crystals just kind of shine.
So I put on my 165mm lens, focused up, and started metering.
This is my Sekonic L858 meter, and basically I use it to spot meter. It's a 1% spot meter, so I will spot brightest highlight in the scene and the darkest shadow in the scene. And there's a memory button here that I can hit, and so we'll remember each of those, and then I hit this average button, and it kind of goes right down the middle, and it shows me how many stops over, how many stops under.
I metered for the area kind of just near the sun here. I wasn't gonna do the sun because there's no way I'll expose for that. So I metered for this, and then I metered for my darkest little corner, and it ended up about 4 stops over and 4 stops under, which is kind of at the limit of color negative film. I use a Ektar 100.
I moved in for some close-ups on that skull as the sun got a little higher and really started to create some specular highlights on the frost of that skull. I was back here with my 8x10. I had a 210mm Computar f9 lens. I did not use front tilt because if I would have tilted to try and get, you know, near things in the bottom of the frame in focus and far things in the back, I would have missed the tops of those trees which were near me and at the top of the frame. So I just left the focus straight up and down. I straightened out the back, and then I just went to, you know, an f45.
I thought the sky would look cool, really dark. And they're all melted now, but there was a bunch of frost in those trees, and so I thought I'd really pop against the dark sky. So I shot one with a deep red filter, which cut 4 stops, and then I shot one with a yellow filter, which cut 1 stop. After that, I decided to pull out my 4x5 camera and my Schneider 90mm lens.
I put on my Schneider Center Filter 4. It's basically like it's a spot of ND in the middle of the frame, and then the outsides are clear. And so it basically brings up the outsides, which tend to vignette. And then I had a polarizer. Sometimes polarizers can darken one part of the sky and not the other, but I figured with the center filter, that's already kind of bringing up the outside. And so I figure, you know, if the top right side of the sky is a little dark, I can bring it up or darken a little bit of the left in post. The sky would normally look like bright like this, but as I turn it, it darkens the sky and kind of just makes the colors more saturated. So there's without it, there's with it.